YouTube? It's Chris, and here I am finally doing this SKS review almost a year later after I did my range video. I was supposed to do the review like the next day after the range video, but somehow I got sidetracked, and this video has just now shown up a year later. So I'm not going to beat you guys to death with information you probably already know. It's typical. It's the Yugo M59/66 A1 SKS, and it's got the NATO style grenade launcher on there, which I suspect, if you know the history of communist Yugoslavia, Tito was not well liked by Stalin or any of Stalin's, well, I ain't gonna say successors, but any of the people that replaced Stalin. Wasn't well liked. So even though he was a communist country, you know, in charge of a communist country, I suspect that he worried that his country might probably be invaded by the Warsaw Pact and the Soviet Union. So in the event of that, he could probably request aid from NATO or something, who knows, and they could supply him with grenades or something. You know, I'm just going off on a limb to say reason why that grenade launcher's on there. But besides the grenade launcher, I had the trigger. If you've seen the range video, I had the trigger improved by Tom Prince of Kivaari. Kivaari's little armory, and he did a hell of a job on it. And I would highly recommend him if you're looking to improve the trigger on your SKS. He goes in and he, I don't know, files some things down that I'm not too familiar. You know, I gotta say, I looked at this trigger group before. You know, I took it out and all that type of stuff. But he really knows what he's doing, and he goes in and he does some stuff that you have to do by hand, and he improves it. So I'm glad I sent it off to him. And I had a Firearm return spring added. I don't know if you guys can see inside of there. I had a Firearm return spring added to my bolt, and that was done by Mary's Gunsmithing. So I sent the bolt off. They polished the bolt and all that type of stuff, and did a pretty good job on it. It's supposed to reduce slam fires, which you wouldn't really have an issue with slam fires if you clean your bolt out that often. But I'm always looking to improve the safety on some of my weapons if possible. Plus, the original SKS, so I've been told, had a Firearm return spring, and it was later removed out of later models. And everybody that copied on the SKS, you know, like all the different countries, they copied the Russian second model that didn't have the Firearm return spring. So of course the Yugo didn't have one either. So it's different configuration slightly from when I had it out at the range. I do have a scope on here, and the scope is zeroed in. The only thing is I'm gonna have to replace the scope, because the scope has such a large profile that I couldn't install my shell deflector, and so the rounds just keep bouncing into the freaking scope. And eventually it's going to either damage the scope's going to lose its zero and all that type of stuff. So I had a towel wrapped around it to sort of try to absorb some of the blows from each round hitting the scope. But I'm going to replace it with a different scope, something where I can get the shell deflector on. But besides that, I mean, I got this thing from Samco Global, and it was the excellent condition model, which they still have some. They're limiting people to 3 SKS per person, and I mean, it shoots well. I slugged the bore, and then it comes out as .310 and a half. So I have put reloaded rounds through this baby, and I mean, it's dead on, so I can't complain. But I know you guys out there own SKSs, so let me know what you think. And until next time.